wanted ginger in my tea, so I put the ginger in my tea. And that is when I got my light bulb moment. I said, why am I struggling to put ginger in my tea? Why can't it be in my tea? So, long story short is I then came out with two products. I came out with a plain tea, Melvin's premium tea, and I came up with Melvin's ginger tea. And I put them in the market. Guess which worked and which did not work? The innovative one worked. They said, bring this one. This other one, actually, I think we're only allowed to sell one. I say, no, the monopoly has been lifted. They say, we don't care. We want this other one. And that is how my journey began. So from there, we then moved on to other flavors. You can see the timeline there. We went into vanilla. We went into masala. Because now that was what the innovation we were made to do. One of the supermarkets then approached me and said, we like the way you do your packaging. Can you do some contract packing for us? We said, yes, sure. And they said, please do rice. I said, rice? But remember, I like challenges. So quickly, I found out where the machine comes from. It comes from China. They're very good with their rice. I got an engineer. We did the water, and we started doing the work. We started packing rice for them, but not for ourselves. And I got very excited. Again, it's a very whatever. My business is still growing. So let me pack that story and say, as I was still growing my business, I went to the USA. And I said, now, because tea became very intriguing. At the time, 97% of our tea was exported in bulk. I said, we have to change this story. I'm going to change this story. We are going to... So I go to the States. Remember, undercapitalized, small, not really well branded. And I got one distributor who said, yes, I'll take your product, no problem. He got a small consignment, and it was the time of www. I don't know if you guys remember that, websites. And he put me a small little, that is how he advertised my product. Did it move? No. Next year I told my people I'm going again. I go again. Did it move? No. So that is not working. I'm now doing contract packing in rice. I'm broke. So I went to a microfinance looking for money, and I said, I need money. My business is moving, but I need money. And they said, listen, do this. Let me see your figures. And he looked and he said, my goodness, you don't have a problem. You have a management problem. I said, what do you mean? I know what I'm doing. And he said, you have a management problem. You're not collecting your money. And he said, let me do this. Put together a board of advisors, and I will be your first board member. And that is how that came to life. And from there, then I actually started really professionalizing the business. We've gone to certification. We've done herbal teas. We've extended the salt. We've got herbal salts and different types of fruit infusions. You can see from there, 2019, we were honored with a super brand, which is, at least an authentication of a strong brand. We celebrated our 25th Jubilee just 2020 during COVID. This year, we're going to celebrate our 30th. Towards the left, there's a machine you can see there. It's a vending machine. During COVID, we couldn't get into shops. We couldn't get, we got into the shops, but we couldn't get to our consumer. So we did some innovation, and we said we want to put our tea, touch of a button like a coffee machine. We wanted to do a tea machine. And that we invented around that time. Then we started noticing from the consumables of this product, we can now come up with instant tea. So we have tea, it has tea, sugar, and milk in one sachet. Why am I saying this? Because it's a clear example of following your customer, and I think Kola spoke about it earlier. I had been asked to share what would I tell my younger self. And I just want to put a disclaimer. Kola and I met in the room earlier. We don't know each other. My principles are going to be very similar to his. Of course, my story is different. So the first one is exactly what he said. Just do it. Start small, start messy, start scared, but start. Of course, dream big. And what I like saying about that one, if your dream does not keep you awake at night, it is not big enough. Solve real problems. 42% of businesses fail because there's no market need. People start a business because Kola started a business, because so-and-so started a business, because somebody else started a business. No. Start a business because you're solving a real problem. And remember the problems, the buckets I was giving you. Those are great problems that need to be solved. Have a solution that you deeply believe in. In the middle of my journey somewhere, I remember it was 6 years before COVID, because I decided I wanted to teach Kenyans how to make a perfect cup of tea. So we came up with Melvin's tea house, called Melvin's Moments. We went to a posh area in Nairobi, and we started. Now, the skill set of running a manufacturing organization and running a restaurant where you're told we had 6 customers who had breakfast, we had 4 who had lunch, and we had 18 who had, no. It was a perfect example of do something you really, you really believe in or do it properly. So 6 years later, we looked at this business and said, we really don't have the heart to be in restauranting business, and we let it go. So I want to say, embrace failure early. Fail fast, fail forward. I did my salt. Within a couple of weeks, I realized this is not working. I quickly had to pivot. I listened in the market and I jumped into something else. This is what entrepreneurship pushes you to be. The people who are very rigid, they're very clear where they're going, they know how to go there, they don't want to be told. That is not a characteristic of an entrepreneur. You will not make it. I tried to sell my business because of how slow it was beginning. Building a brand is one of the hardest things you can do. I tried to sell my business not once, 2 times. But, and that's because I was struggling for funds. I started getting burnout. I was doing everything myself. But when the buyer came and gave an offer, I said, no, if somebody really is believing in me, I need to believe in myself. So keep moving. The other thing I would say is evolve or expire. Evolving in business is actually like life. If you don't evolve, you die. I think Kola spoke about the business model, systems and processes. I think that was Zach's. At every stage of your business, you need a different skill set. So make sure that you do standardize, put operation manuals, embrace technology, document and delegate. Don't keep it in your head. Some of you are here and you're nervous. You want to run back to the office. You want to run back and do your business because it's going, it's all here. Give it to somebody else. I think even the Bible says, put it on a stone for others to see it. Your team, do you have the right team for each stage of your growth? Remember, you develop people and then people build your business. Your leadership capacity. To lead is to learn. You're constantly learning. I'm constantly learning even till today. And I'm having so much fun learning from the Gen Zs. Because it would take me half an hour to do one post. These guys do a post like in seconds. A video, don't even give me. And then they'll tell me, oh, did you see the comments? I'm like, no, I didn't see the comments. I don't know. I didn't see the comments. Where am I supposed to look for them? So they'll show me today. Tomorrow, I have no clue where they showed me. So that's what I'm learning. But you guys can also learn from us. Invest in yourself. All my big moves in business, when I've looked at them, were preceded by research, by exposure, by expert advice. Don't try to do it alone. And the other one I would say is work on your business, not in your business. Meaning, when you have to step out to learn, get other people to run the business. When you have to step out to get a consultant, get somebody else to be in your business. When you're having to go and do the compliance issues that we were told about, somebody else can do that for you. But you are the one who always take a step back and scan the room because you're the only one. Nobody else is going to be there. Nobody else is doing it. And ignorance, like I say, is no defense. Brew to last. I know everybody talks about build to last. I call it brew to last. Of course, I'm a Tea girl, remember. Too many businesses in Africa are born, they survive, and they die. So for those of us maybe this side of the room, they can tell you many, because we're the older ones, they can tell you how many businesses they've seen die. Our continent has the most entrepreneurs globally, but all small and informal. Not all, but a lot are small and informal and in survival mode. So starting is not our problem, actually. Our problem is scaling, sustaining, and building legacies. How many legacy businesses do we have and can we have on the continent? That is the real challenge for African businesses. And I want to say longevity does not come from longevity comes from thinking long-term and building strategies that can scale. That means investing in people, training and empowering so you can leave them to do the work. Setting up structures for consistency, not chaos. It means governance, putting together a board, people who can help you think. Knowing when to step back and knowing when to let others take the lead. There's always a time where you need to get off the stage and let somebody take that stage so you can pick up the next big burden. Build purposeful brands, thinking beyond just selling. Let's move beyond commodities. Build brands with a voice, with a value and a vision that can stand the test of time. All the brands that the two gentlemen spoke before earlier are brands that have stood the test of time. They're not just selling technology, they're not just selling, they're actually building a brand that can stand the test of time. Build for generations, meaning stop asking yourself, what can I do today? You have to start asking yourself, what can I do 5 years from now? What will my business be doing 10 years from now? What will my business be doing 25 years from now? That is when you're able to build a brand that will last. And that is basically how Melvin's has moved from a product to be a household name. We are now in the region and strongly on our way to being a global brand. It has not been linear, but the one thing I'll say is it has been consistent.